Hey, I thought I'd switch gears here a little bit and talk about entrepreneurship in action. About 6 months ago, in that ballpark anyway, in the midst of COVID, of course, I did an entire series on entrepreneurship and what it took to be one. And I thought I'd go back and talk about it a little bit because over the last week, a week and a half or so, I've probably talked to 4 or 5 people who think they want to be an entrepreneur. Can you imagine that? Yes, they do. And we talked about what it took to be ready. What does readiness means? Now, back then, I did a video on this. But before I show it to you, because it's really going to be great, subscribe to the Entrenaut YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you there. Hey, if you got comments here and or on the YouTube channel, I'd be glad to entertain them. But let me show you the video that I did back then. And I have to apologize. I didn't have my really nice Logitech camera at the time, and it was done with the camera in my Mac. But now this video, as have been many others since then, have been much higher quality. That's a hint for you who think you're going to be doing videos. Get an external camera. It works a whole lot better. But let's see what I said back then about readiness. Hey, good morning, everybody. Hey, let's take a moment for entrepreneurship. So the moment of the day is about readiness to be an entrepreneur. This means, do you have a passion to be one? Do you have the energy? Do you have the commitment? Are you willing to work long hours? This takes time. Do you have time to do this? You may have a job. That might be okay. You can do nights and weekends. You've got to be driven. You got to be persistent. You can stay at this. You will stay at this longer than anybody because you have persistence. Well, is your family behind you? Does your family know what you're about to do? And do they agree and do they support you? Do you have the money to do this? This does take money. Starting a business is not free. Best of all, do you have a really good business idea? A premise for your business, a need you'll fulfill and you know how to fulfill it. And there's a market for it. You got a team behind you that'll help you with this. That's readiness. That's the moment of the day. Have a great day. Everybody applaud. I thought I'd throw that in. Give myself a pat on the back. So look, what does readiness mean? What was I talking about? It took me a minute. Every one of those moments that I did back then were a minute long, within seconds of it. So I covered a lot of stuff in words with one sentence behind them. So let me expand a little bit. What this all nets out to be is you got to have backing for this. Backing in a lot of different ways. Let me cover them here for you. First of all, you've got to have the passion to do this in the first place. If you don't have passion for this business, you may want to consider doing something else, because there'll be moments during the course of your entrepreneurship where the only thing you might have is the passion you have for this business, because everything else seems to be turning to you know what. So check your passion out. If you get up in the morning just delighted and excited to go and continue creating this business and eventually running it, okay, that's good. If you have doubts of any kind, and check with your family. Do they see you as being doubtful? Or do they see you as energetic, going to get it, solving the problems, doing what it takes? That's the way you want to be. But with all that passion, the first thing you've got to do is what I call establish a premise for your business. A premise. That means you have identified a really significant need for a whole lot of customers, a need that they have to solve a problem, to offer them an opportunity that they may not be aware is available to them. Or it could be for a social need as well, a social cause, and you're starting a nonprofit. Whatever this need is, you need to know all about it in depth. Do some research. Don't do all your full market research yet, but at least check this idea out that you've got, that there is a need, and it looks like it's a pretty strong one. You want to feel good about that. It's going to bolster your passion if you say, geez, a lot of people are telling me this is a good idea. But the premise is also made up of a really innovative solution to the problem, or a solution to the social cause, or a great invention that provides for an opportunity that nobody out there knew they had a need for. Whatever it is, you've got a good solution. And again, you're getting pretty good vibes from people you've been talking to that they're going to want this and they'll almost be willing to pay for it. And by the way, this premise includes that I don't think anybody out there is going to be able to beat me because I'm going to have significant differentiation. And by the way, my over-the-top calculation for this is I think I can make some money at this, or I can really satisfy this social cause, whatever your purpose is for this business. So you got to have a need and you got to have a way to fulfill it. That's a premise. And if you can, in a matter of a few minutes, just a few minutes, can explain what this premise is to your grandma, grandpa, your cousins, your uncles, whatever, people that are not steeped in all of what you're doing, but you can explain it to them, they can understand it, they say, yeah, that sounds right to me. The people are saying that to you, keep going. You're going to have to commit yourself to a healthy amount of your time. You're not working 40 hours. Let me tell you that. You may be working 60, 70, sometimes 80. I'm not fooling you. Your weekends may be gone for quite a long time. So get ready. But you are committed full bore to make this happen. And your commitment is unwavering. You knock down all obstacles. You overcome. I sound like a Marine now, right? Overcome and adapt and overcome, and all, those kind of phrases. I'm not a Marine, but your commitment has to be strong. That's all I'm trying to tell you. And I've always talked about focus, focus, focus. You've heard me do this. If you've heard me once, you've heard me 10 times say this. You've got to be narrowly focused on this premise that we just got through talking about, and stay there. Stay there until your face caves in. If your face caves in, okay, we got to pivot somewhere. It's not working. But don't prematurely or on some whim or some side idea somebody asks you about, well, why'd you do this? And you say, oh, maybe I should. And you find yourself bouncing all off the four walls of your office and are thrashing. You don't want to be thrashing, bouncing around with all sorts of different fulfillments, if you will, to this need, or chasing other needs that you hadn't even thought of in the first place. So be focused, stay on target, and you're not going to waver off one way or the other unless there's a good reason, a thoughtful reason for you to do that. Then what? Hey, starting a business is not free. It does take money. Depending on the kind of business you're going to get into, it can vary by a lot. For as little as $30,000 or $40,000 if it's a services business, because you're going to have to spend some money on marketing and sales and maybe a few people to do both the administrative tasks and all of the operational tasks. You're not going to have the time to do everything yourself. If you're making a product that requires manufacturing and injection molding and a distribution channel from some foreign country, and on and on and on, you may be up in the $150,000 to $200,000 range to start a business like that. So really understand, again, over the top of your thumb, we're still very early yet. We haven't done the startup. We're still assessing the premise of this business. But you're going to need some money to get going. And if you don't have it, you need to start thinking about how to go get it. And it's a wholly different subject, which we can take you through and be glad to do so. Chances are, in not too long a period of time, you're going to find that you have to have people with you. You need a team. If you're a strong inventor, you're going to need probably a marketing person. You're going to need a few advisors in the market that you're in. You're going to need services like accounting and legal help and tax help, sales tax help if you're selling something online, all sorts of other things. But there's a team, both those that are very close to you in terms of the founding team of this company. People are actually in this, working their 60 to 70 to 80 hours a week right along with you as part of the team, the founding team of this company. But you need the right mix of people that have the same passion and commitment and agree with this premise as strongly as you do. Simple as that. Then finally, you've got to have your family with you, because they are going to feel the brunt of the sacrifice you're making, the 50, 60, 70 hours, nights and weekends, lots of money being spent, perhaps borrowed, maybe even the need for your spouse going out for a job themselves. You may want to do this much more slowly, and you're going to work at the same time, so you're going to work half time on your business and make money the other half so you can support your family. But make sure that your family's behind you and you indeed are supporting them as they are going to support you. If you lose your family, that would just be such a shame. But be open, upfront, and realistic about what this takes. That's a mouthful. I don't know how many minutes it took me, but quite a few. Now, what we offer, just in closing here at Onterdot, is literally an assessment you can take. It's an Excel spreadsheet with about 40 questions in it that you ask yourself. And we give you kind of an assessment as to what your answers mean. And we'll be glad to talk to you as well. It might be a good thing to take. And if you want it, just contact me. You can find me on LinkedIn. My contact information is there. I'm bwarner at onterdot.org, as you'll see on all of my profiles. Contact me and I'll send it to you. Try it out for yourself. I think you'll find it helpful. And with that, as you're doing your assessment, you're going to have a really great day.